Hello, my name is George Tabb. I'm with Life Without Limits Coaching and Counseling. And tonight we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. And I'm sitting here. Nashima is not available tonight. But I am sitting here with my daughter, Ayana, who's agreed to help me out tonight. And Ayana, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, my name is Ayana Tab, his daughter, as he said.
Great.
Ready for me to read the disclaimer?
Yeah.
This is a public forum, and anything placed in the comments is public and all can see. This is not therapy, this is coaching. And if you have a private matter or questions, please send an email to lifewithoutlimits with an S, cc@gmail.com. If you feel like you got something from this video, all we ask you to do is share, subscribe, like, or comment.
Fantastic. Thank you, honey. And so, tonight is part 4 of, thank you. Tonight is part 4 of us talking about men and money. Now, really, it's women too, women and men and money, but specifically, I know when it comes to relationships, a lot of times, money can be an issue, and I know I guess you always want to improve and grow, and so this was really designed specifically for men, okay, for husbands, for boyfriends, for sons and nephews, and so if you have any men in your life that you would like to see maybe grow, maybe improve, this would be a great video for them. And so why don't I go out to you and let you talk about our scripture for tonight?
Yeah, the scripture for tonight is coming from Proverbs 10:4. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, and that's a great scripture. I love when you're talking about, work, and you've got work connected with wealth, because that's how you build wealth. You have to work at it. It is a day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year process. Okay. It's interesting while we're talking about that real quick. I'm going to derail here for a second. They polled Americans and they said, how do you see yourself getting wealthy in America? And you know what they said? The number one way was to hit the lottery, and number 2 was a lawsuit. Okay. So sometimes work comes in the form of overalls, right? But anyway, all right. So this is part 4. So let's do a recap on part 1, part 2, and part 3. So part 1 was where we talked about the harder you work harder on yourself than you do on what you do. So in other words, it's not what you're getting on your job, or not what you're getting from your business, but it's what you are becoming. It's the person that you're growing into. Okay. And then that was the part 1. Then part 2 was when we gave concepts on how to grow your self-esteem, and which we've had such a good response from that section, and we'll probably be doing some more on that. And then last week was establishing a get-rich plan. Okay, an objection I hear a lot on getting rich is, well, George, I don't want to get rich, and I understand that, but my mentor, he sold me on the idea. He said, George, if you don't want much, then you don't have to become much. And so I've always tried to do better than I did last year. Okay, that's my goal. Okay, my goal is to do better than I did last year. My goal is to do better this quarter, the first quarter of the year. Well, now we're in the second quarter, but to do better the second quarter than I did the first quarter of 2017. So I'm not comparing myself to other people, but I'm comparing myself to myself. So I want to be a better me, a George 2.0, if that makes sense. All right, and so let's talk about our tablet for this week. And the tablet is really, how do you show love for yourself? And I found out in a lot of different ways. I had a hard time with showing love for myself. Okay, people pay me a compliment, and I say, "Oh, these old shoes, please! I got these out of the back of the closet." And so sometimes it can be difficult, and sometimes we think sometimes it's, we believe that being sacrificial, and denying ourselves of what we want and what we need is a good thing. And I'm here to tell you it's not. It really hurts you. And so this week's tablet is on how do you show love for yourself. Okay? And so in this last part of Men and Money and Dealing, we're going to deal with your health. And I want to give you several points on helping yourself and your performance and how to maximize your strength, how to do a better job at being you. Okay? How to feel better. I found out, one of the things that my mentor, Jim Rohn, that he used to say, if you feel well, you earn well. And so a lot of times, we want to do things, but man, you just dragging your body along, it's like the mind and the intentions are wanting to go out and do things, but the body's saying, man, I don't feel that good. Man, I'm tired. Okay. And so you drag your body along. Okay. I heard someone say that when you're young, you trade your health for money, but when you get older, you take that money and you apply it towards your health. Okay? And so eventually your body will break down on you, and it's very expensive. I don't know when the last time you've been to the doctor or if you ever had a procedure. My gosh, it is very expensive. Okay? And so here's number one. So number one for tonight, for helping you create a better health plan and feel better, is create a health plan, okay, which includes a workout plan. Okay, so what's your workout plan? You said, well, George, I didn't have a workout plan. I said, working out, man, I'm just trying to get by. Okay, well, my mentor told me, he said, he told me to find exercise that's a routine exercise that I enjoy and that's simple and that I can do anywhere. So exercise is very important. Thank you, Miss Johnson. It's very important. And so exercise routine that I enjoy. I enjoy walking. I enjoy running. Okay, those are one or two of my favorite things to do. And I like to do calisthenics. I can do that from anywhere. So if I'm if I'm traveling, if I'm at my mother's house, if I'm spending the night at my cousin's house, if I'm on vacation, I can still get my exercise in. Okay. Number two is, what foods are you eating and when are you eating them? Okay. So what foods, I like to eat sweets, but here's what I found out about sweets. Sweets make me tired if I eat them in the morning. Now, if I eat them at night, it's instant weight, number one. But number two, sweets sometimes fit in the sugar category and they fit in the carbohydrate category. And it slows you down. It makes me lethargic. And so I'm not as vigorous. I don't have my vigor. I don't have my stamina. I'm kind of sluggish and I'm dragging. So here's what I found out. I had to change my diet. So now in the mornings, I like to eat proteins. Why? Because your body is fasting all night. Hopefully, not unless you're sleepwalking. But if your body fasts all night, and it's good to wake up to some proteins. Okay? So proteins, and it helps, it builds the mind as well. Okay? Now, fried foods. Recently, last couple of weeks ago, Nashima fried some fish, and oh my gosh, it was so good. But I tell you what, we ate leftovers. So we had the fried fish on, let's say, Friday, and then Saturday we ate more fried fish because it was leftover, and then Sunday, and I was glad to eat it. I did not complain. Okay. But here's the challenge. The challenge is I shot up by 2 or 3 pounds. Okay. Immediately. Okay. So fried foods, man, it slows you down. Okay. And then all the sodium. So I definitely believe in enjoying life, but in moderation for the things. I believe in win-win. And sometimes when you're eating the wrong things, you can create a win-lose. Now, win is you feel good when you're eating it. It tastes good. But then you lose on the back end because it slows you down and make you sluggish. Okay? So I try to find foods that are win-win. Now, Ayana, you brought up a great point, which is point number 2. You're going to cover about meditation.
Yes, meditation opens you up to accept more information. So if you meditate for a few minutes before you go to a class or something like that, during that class, you'll take in a lot more information than you would if you didn't meditate before. Meditation also brings you to the present moment. And normally when you're in the present moment, you're at peace. If you think about the future, you're anxious. If you think about the past, you're most likely depressed. There are a couple of different types of meditation, but one of the beginner types, if you will, is just focusing on your breathing. So breathe in, breathe out, and simple things like that.
Y'all see my baby. Okay. All right. So that's point number 2. Good job. Give me something. All right. So, and then our last point is affirmations. Now, I learned this. I got to be honest with you. A lot of my success has came in the network marketing industry. I'm a strong believer in business ownership, entrepreneurship. I think for me, 1996, and I haven't shared this story a lot, but 1996, both Nashim and I finished up at Howard University. We both have graduate degrees, and we graduated from school, and I thought to myself, is this it? Okay. And so I love what I do. But at the same time, I thought to myself, boy, I really love to have, more control over my schedule and of my money. So we got started in 1996 in the home-based business area. We bought into personal development. We bought into, growing yourself, being a better you. And that's how our journey started. And I thank God because Nashima was the one that was open, to seeing different ideas, seeing other ways of making money. And one thing I've learned when it comes to opportunities, you never know where your opportunity is and you never know where your blessing is. Okay. So a parachute works best if it's open, just like your mind. So try to stay open to new ideas and to new creative ways of making money. That's where I learned affirmations. And man, I was on it, even in the Bible and scriptures in the Bible, and I could recite, scriptures and it was really something that really impacted my self-esteem and my self-awareness. It made me feel good about myself. I noticed when I was saying positive things about myself, in essence, I would pump myself up, man. And so sometimes to do the incredible, you really got to pump yourself up. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you something. It ain't what other people say about you, but it's what you say about yourself. It ain't what others believe about you. It's what you believe about yourself. And if you want to program your subconscious the way you do it, it's with the words. Words are the software for the mind. So you program your mind with your words. And it changed my life. It changed my belief. Man, I wish I could show you what I was like back 20 years ago. It's not the same person. I promise you, I would not be looking to be on anybody's video. Okay, I can promise you that, all right? And so affirmation usage, number 1, create an affirmation. So you may say something like, well, every day I'm getting better and better. Well, if you don't believe that, then it doesn't matter. I don't care how many times you say it, you've got to believe it. So create an affirmation that you believe. Okay? Create something that you believe. Create an affirmation that speaks a positive future about yourself. Okay? So what do you believe about yourself? well, I'm a great person. Well, do you believe that about yourself? And if you do, if I was to read a book on your life, would I be able to see that? Would I be able to see the impact that you're making, the difference that you're making? And, you know, everybody's not going to be a Nelson Mandela, but here's what you can be. You can be the best person in your sphere of influence. You can reach out and touch people right where you are. You know, I remember hearing this story about this guy who was taking these starfish had washed up on the shore, and he was taking them and throwing them back in the water. So he grabbed one and he threw it back in the water, and somebody walked past. They said, "Why'd you do that?" He said, "Well, because I wanted to save that starfish." He said, "Yeah, you saved that one starfish, but look at all these other starfish that's washed up on the beach." He said, "You ain't gonna make a difference in their life." He said, "I may not make a difference in their life, but I made a difference in that one." And so each one, teach one. That's one of the reasons why we do this program every Wednesday at 7:30. Okay? Because each one, teach one. Okay? We may never have 400 views on this, but I'm okay with that. Okay? Because I'm doing what I believe I was put here to do. Okay? For Shima and I. Okay? So speak a positive future. So point number 1, create an affirmation. 2, speak a positive. That affirmation should be something that speaks a positive future about you. And 3, something that you believe. Now, something that I do, this is 4, is I put them on index cards. Okay? As a matter of fact, at one time, I don't do it that much now. Because now it's in me. Okay? So after you do it over and over and over and over, so we're talking 20 years now, okay? So now it's in me. Now those statements, when I need them, they're there. Okay? When I need, that scripture that I need, it's up here. Okay? I got it in my heart. And that's where you want it. But I started out, man, I had tons of index cards. Man, I was just tripping over index cards. Had them in my car, had them on there's a show called that Gabrielle does. And I've seen her do this on this show. I know it's a show. I forget the name of it. But she's got all these stickers that are affirmations. They're at work. She's this top, CNN like reporter and broadcaster, and so she wants to create this positive environment, and that's how you do it. You create it yourself. You are the architect of your future. You are the architect of your environment. You say, "Well, George, man, I work around some negative people," or maybe you live with negative people. Hey, but you know what? Your environment is your energy, and you create that, and you're responsible for that. We're not responsible for other people, but we can be responsible for ourselves. And then lastly, so create the affirmation and let it, and speak your affirmation of a positive future was 2. 3, it has to be something that you believe. 4, put it on index cards. And then 5, repeat it with strong emotions. Okay? Repeat that affirmation. So if it's every day I'm getting better and better, then say it like you mean it. Okay? Every day I'm getting better and better. Now, did you believe that? Because I didn't.
I didn't either.
Okay? So say it like you mean it. All right? And just in closing, I love to close out with stories. I heard this story recently, and I've used this a couple times today, and I guess it's on the forefront of my head here. But there was a farmer, and he was sitting on a porch, and down beside him he had this hound dog. Okay, and this farmer had a visitor. So the visitor comes up, farmer's sitting back on the porch, drinking some lemonade, and him and his visitor was talking, and every now and then his dog would howl. Oh, he had a hound dog. He would howl, man. Oh, right? And so the visitor looked at the farmer, and he said, "You know what?" He said, "About every few minutes," he says, "your dog, your hound dog, Hows? Why does he do that? He said, oh, he does it. That's just what he does. And he says, yeah, but I notice he does it about every few minutes. He said, oh, yeah, he's laying on a nail. He said, well, he's laying on a nail? He said, yeah. He said, well, how come he don't move? He said, because it don't hurt bad enough. So here's what I figured out. Most people will do things for growth. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to do it for growth. But some people do things out of grief. And that's okay. If that's where you are, do it out of grief. But just do it. Get started. And so, and why don't we do this? Why don't I turn it back over to you so you can give our...
Yes. If you feel like you got something from this video, all we ask you to do is share, subscribe, like, and comment.
Okay. And listen, thank you for listening tonight. And remember, in closing, we empower the people that build their relationship. Hey, God bless you. Take charge, take control, and take a chance. And thanks for listening in.